Welcome to the Workamper Show, brought to you by Workamper.com. This podcast helps you discover how to finance your RV travel dreams. Each one of our episodes will introduce you to people who are already living the RV lifestyle or to work camping opportunities all around the U.S. You'll also learn how to hit the road the right way and make the most of every opportunity. Now let's turn over today's show to your host, Greg Gerber.
Today I'll be talking to Chad and Janelle Payne. They were both working as critical care nurses when they stumbled into the world of do-it-yourself RV renovation, and they never looked back. Today's episode is brought to you by Workamper News. Since 1987, they've been helping businesses of all types to find and recruit work campers. Work campers serve in a variety of positions around the country to help further the mission of great businesses. When you become an employer member at Workamper.com, you'll have access to resources and support to help you develop and implement your work camper recruiting strategy. In today's market, it's more challenging than ever to keep a flow of applicants coming in. The Workamper News recommends advertising your current and future work camper job openings frequently throughout the year, as well as scheduling some time to regularly search the work camper resume database because new work campers are joining daily. Work campers like to plan many months ahead, so now is the time to take action to begin developing your work camper team. Learn more and download our quick start guide for employers at www.workamper.com/employer. What started as a pandemic project with a moss-covered forgotten camper has since evolved into a passion for transforming RVs into beautiful customized living spaces. Janelle, known online as Nail Gun Nellie, has inspired thousands with her unique designs, hands-on approach, and step-by-step guidance for people who want to renovate their own rigs. In this episode, we'll explore how they learned the skills to remodel RVs, what challenges they've overcome, and how their journey led to the publication of Janelle's book, DIY Camper and RV Reno. Whether you're looking to refresh your current RV, renovate one for full-time living, or simply want to see what's possible with a little creativity and courage, this conversation will open your eyes to the potential of do-it-yourself RV renovation. To see whether giving an old camper a new life is easier than you ever imagined, please welcome Chad and Janelle Payne to the show. Thanks for joining me today, Chad and Janelle. I really appreciate the time. How long have you been renovating RVs?
So it all started probably back in 2020. And during the whole COVID pandemic. And Chad and I are actually both critical care nurses as well. And during that time, we had just finished completing a tiny home, little studio conversion on our property. And I really wanted another project, but with COVID going on, there was no way to do anything. And I just happened to, and there was an old RV that was like all moss grown, just sitting there, and had been sitting there forever. So I figured I'm going to ask her if maybe I can have that or buy it from her and just try out the RV renovation. And we were so excited that she just wanted it gone. So it gave me the freedom to mess up in a way without a huge investment in. And that's where it all started. I just went down a rabbit hole on Instagram and realized this was all a thing. And I started with a free trailer, and it's just been going on since.
That's great. Coming from Wisconsin, I remember just traveling the highways of that state and finding RVs out in the middle of fields all over the place, and people
That's
not
generally
using them.
We'll look when we're looking to purchase an RV on Facebook Marketplace. You'll find endless RVs that are just in complete distress, and most of the people just want you to get rid of them before.
Mm-hmm. That's a very good point. They don't know what to do with it, and they probably think nobody wants one because it's been sitting in the field for so long.
And those are my favorite people to find.
I can imagine. But then I watched one of your videos of you putting together one of these RVs, and I'm like, there is no possible way I could ever figure out how to do that. So how did you figure it out?
Yes, you can. Honestly, I think it was because I had the opportunity to work on one that I had zero investment in. So I was just like, I'm going to tear this wall out. And if it doesn't work out, then it just doesn't work out. No big deal. Like, oh, we'll just get rid of it and take it to the dump or something. And once you get into it, it's why in our homes and things for years. And you would be so surprised at how you can Google the most specific thing and find a YouTube video on it. And you're like, okay, that broke it down really well. I think I can do this. And if you look at it like that, basically an RV is similar to a home. It's just made with much lighter weight material. There's some definite differences. It's a 2x2 instead of a 2x4. And it's very thin wallboard utility panels rather than drywall. And the biggest difference is like really being conscious of the weight and the length of your screws, like all those little things. But really, it's made just like a house, and you just take one little project at a time. Building a cabinet is really not difficult. It's a square box. If you think I'm going to build a cabinet, it's crazy. But if you break it down into the one little project at a time, it just stacks on top of each other and becomes manageable.
That is so impressive. My father was an industrial arts teacher, and my grandfather was a master woodworker, and my uncle ran a lumber yard in Wisconsin, and it took me an entire summer to build a swing set. So to hear you do this kind of thing, it's impressive.
I think a lot of it is just not being afraid to mess up and like realizing you're probably going to, but knowing that you always can figure out a way to make it work. And I think a lot of what's cool about DIY is there's so many times where I've messed up and I'm just like, what am I going to do here? I have this 2-foot gap. I can't do anything with it. But that's when, if you happen to be a creative person, you just are like, we could make this into a feature wall or just come up with something creative that makes your design even better. So I don't know. I just love the challenge, and I guess it's not for everybody, but
okay. So
it is.
Are you buying RVs off of Facebook Marketplace, renovating them, and then reselling them? Is that one of the things you're doing to build income?
It's more, I would say with my social platforms, I do the renovations to help show people what is possible and to be able to create the book that I did. We don't necessarily flip the RVs for a profit.
Okay.
Actually get a profit, but that's never the actual goal of doing them. I honestly just truly love making these unique spaces. And that's what one of my favorite things about an RV is. If you live in a house, I'm not going to want a room, maybe somebody would, but like a black wall room with rustic beams and like a crazy different type of design where it's not going to really go with the rest of the house. Where I feel like in these RVs, it gives me the freedom to be like, step into this like amazing little retreat that is totally not a normal style you would put in an everyday house. But it works for an RV because it's like a vibe in there. And each one has a completely different theme to it, I guess you could say. And so they do end up selling because they are so unique.
I've gone to several girl camper rallies when I was the editor of RV Daily Report. And these gals take their living space seriously and customizing it and adding things to make each RV very unique. Even the small teardrop trailers. It's amazing what they put into that.
Yeah. I was they also, it's so cool in RVs because they are so tiny. It really forces you to get super creative with how you can sneak extra features into all the little nooks and crannies throughout them. They're just such fun spaces and unique that they're very fun to design.
What's your biggest renovation challenge that you've encountered so far?
We van conversion, and I remember, okay, so I had always, it was like a dream of mine to do one, but you have a dream and then you're like, one day. And it was actually a lady that we knew, her husband had passed away, and they had this high top, really huge Ford Transit van. And we had joked about it. We were like, oh, we want this with someday, whenever you want to get rid of it. And her husband had unexpectedly passed away, and she called us. She's, I want to sell it to you. And I was just like, oh gosh, like that means I have to be ready to do this. That's very intimidating. But at the same time, it was such a great opportunity that I'm like, I guess I'm going to have to figure it out. And going down to bare metal and having to build out an entire structure, running the electrical, we added plumbing to it. It was literally putting a house into a van. It was so intimidating. But the same thing goes true with RVs. I just YouTubed every single tiny portion of the project, and eventually it gets done. But yeah, I'd say it was like over a month of just trying to figure out how to run an electrical system from a battery bank.
Have you
It
folks
was a lot.
Have you folks been doing renovations together for a long time? Not just
Um,
RVs, but in the house?
When we first got together and we were first living together, we were tackling little projects like fixing a staircase, and doing that would take us
the
so
longest time.
so much time, and it was such a task. And it just seems like when you're doing DIY and really anything in general, the more you do it, the more comfort you get, the more knowledgeable you get, and these little things become easy, and you just keep on growing. And so, yeah, we've come a long way since then.
Did either of you have a background in this before you started or experience, or is it all YouTube certified?
It's all no. Well, we can say we give a lot of credit to my stepdad,
Yeah.
Rich. He is a jack of all trades, and he's just skilled in so many areas. And so whenever we do run into something that we're just really feeling unsure about, we call him, and he answers, and he's drops everything, and he helps us.
He's absolutely the best, and it is amazing. It's like our insurance policy. We're like, okay, if we get in too deep, we know we can call Rich and he will help us.
Okay, super.
But and we can learn so much from him as well. But yeah, growing up, I wanted to do projects, and I love design, but I have no actual background. Like I said, we're both nurses. That's what we do. But this has always been a huge hobby of mine. And I think when we met each other, we were like, we got each other's back. So when you have somebody like that's going to be like, okay, we can figure this out, it just becomes more manageable, I feel. But yeah, it's been a while that we've been doing this.
How'd you get the nickname Nail Gun Nelly?
Oh gosh, it's like the randomest story. It's actually really not that big of a story. I don't know if this is appropriate, but okay. So I never really had Instagram or anything like that. My friend made me one years ago. I never even used it. And I think at the time she even made my handle, and it was Nelly Star. And I just left it. I never went on the thing. And then I started doing these renovations, and I just started posting on my Instagram because they have highlight bubbles, and I wanted a place to just save my progress, because I would always take progress pictures, but I would never remember where they were. And I was like, oh, if I put it on my story, I can have it on a highlight bubble. So I started doing that purely for me. And then people started seeing it, and they were like, what do you do this? And I was like, yeah. And so then after a while, I started getting a little bit of followers, and my cousin was like, I think you need to change your name, because Nelly Star sounds kind of like
Porn
a
star.
porn star.
I was going to say it, but
I didn't want to say it, and I was like, oh man, I'd never really put two thoughts about it. Like, I didn't even make the name. And she's like, you do tools. Why don't you just do like Nail Gun Nelly? She just threw it out. And I was like, okay, change it. And here we are. I can't change it now. So that's really came about. But my family always calls me Nelly instead of Janelle. So that's where the whole Nelly thing came from. But yeah, Nail Gun Nelly stuck.
I love that story. That's amazing. Now, last year you wrote a book. Tell us about that.
Yes, it was such a process, and something that we are so happy we did. Because I'm on social so much and I share all these projects, I get asked so many of the same questions of people really interested in how they can get into RV renovation, different things that I do, putting beams in an RV, and how I'm able to do it. And this was such an amazing opportunity where I basically just wanted to do all of the basics and how we go about putting our RVs together, from where we go to look for them, what we look for when we are actually viewing potential renovations that we're going to take on, what's our turnoffs, what we think we can look past. And then basically like all the different steps in how we plan out our design, how we do flooring, beams, different fixtures, how you can add even any type of residential lighting into an RV. And it's a how-to tutorial-based book. So I have tons of different tutorials that are throughout that'll guide you through like how to step-by-step put LVP into an RV, how to do PEX tubing, like all kinds of different tutorials throughout the book with tons of beautiful pictures and RVs that we've done. And it's just been an amazing resource to be able to get out there for everybody to have.
So your motivation was simply to help other people renovate their own RVs?
Absolutely.
Okay, neat.
I think so many people do not realize what you can do.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, like I I'm that person too. 6 years ago, I had absolutely no idea that people even did renovations. And I was like, what? Can't believe people don't do this all the time. Because if you really look at brand new RVs, they're not the cutest.
Well, a lot.
This company don't want to up their game there, but it's such a cool little knack. And I think especially there's so many people that are really getting into van life, RV life, and doing the nomadic, especially after COVID. So many people have the freedom now with their jobs being remote that it gives them that opportunity. So I think it's a really cool book that can help people make any home on the road their own.
I would
And a lot of tutorials you can even go into a house. It's very similar, but we focus on a lot of lightweight options and different things that we do.
So I know a lot of full-time RVers, they buy an RV and the first thing they do is they gut it down to the studs and rebuild it for full-time lifestyle because it's designed, most RVs, to sleep 10 people for a weekend, but can't accommodate 4 people for an entire year. So they're making those kind of changes. Will your book allow somebody as dumb as me to actually renovate my own RV or recreate a room or something to that effect?
Yeah, there's so many different tutorials where even so many people are there's a lot of RVs that are very dark, and just lighting up, brightening them up makes for a bigger space, I guess you could say. And a very common thing is like, how do I paint these cabinets? Or I don't know, what's another one? Doing a tile backsplash in an RV is very possible. And my book is totally going to help you do those things. It gives you guides on exactly how to prep, how to do it, what to look for. And it's literally like step 1, step 2, step 3, and has pictures for you to visualize it all. I believe that you could do it.
You think so? I don't know. That's quite the challenge.
I think you're giving yourself enough credit.
And do you help people with slide outs as well? Or is that way beyond the kind of renovation that you're doing?
I've never done a
We
slide.
haven't done slide outs just
Okay.
because retro RVs for so long. But slide outs aren't too much of a challenge. The main challenge people run into is when they're putting the flooring in, making sure it's thin enough for the slide out to slide back in over. Yeah. It's just the same setup for the slide out as it is through the rest of the RV. So yeah, you could tackle that too.
Do you help people source materials that they might need to buy? Like, where do you get the lumber or the kind of equipment that you're going to install?
I have in here the recommendations on where I usually go. There's a lot of cushion companies I use. There's tile companies I use. Rec Pro is one of our huge go-tos when we first start out for all of our appliances and like our vent fans. A lot of that's all listed in here, but so many of the products you can honestly get at Home Depot or Lowe's or any box store.
Yeah, you're really just focusing on purchasing lighter weight products than you would put in a house because you're in the RV and it needs to be light to tow. Yeah. So like Janelle mentioned, instead of buying a 2x4, you buy a 2x2.
Yeah.
And why not Home Depot, Lowe's? Yeah.
But RV specific, I would say, is definitely Rec Pro. And then RV Camper, is that the one that we use as well?
A vintage camper. There's vintage camper sites that sell the vintage stuff. There's tons of resources out there.
And all of it's in the book.
Awesome. So people who are thinking about maybe getting into this lifestyle and looking to save a little bit of money from buying a new RV could find a relatively good condition from the frame standpoint RV and then renovate it to their lifestyle or their preferences. Is it cost affordable for them to be able to do that compared to buying a new one?
Yes. And I'm so glad you said that because I was about to say so many people are like, I can't believe you put that much money into it. You should just go buy a new camper. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Have you gone to look how expensive new campers are? And as a person who loves a good vintage camper, they don't make them like they used to. As long as you go and you want the frame, like you said, the bones of your trailer need to be in good condition. Our number one thing is water damage. And so many of the newer trailers do have a lot of water damage, and more so than even a vintage one that we'll come across.
Yeah.
But you can definitely save money, especially if you're willing to do some of the work. Is it going to take time? Yes, I do this it takes us, I feel like we do excessive RV renovations. Like, I don't think everybody needs to do as much as we do. I just have I'm really into design. And then it's like over a course of 5 months. So it's not like it just happens overnight, but you can really get exactly what you want and for the fraction of the cost.
Some people might be hesitant to do it yourself because they're afraid of creating water leaks and preventing those ways, or accidentally creating something that allows water incursion. Is it?
A large portion of the book, we go over locating the water damage and replacing any studs inside the walls and how to remove all the seams, clean them, and reseal it all. And
Okay.
so it's a huge highlight there. But yeah, you're right. That's a super important starting point when you're doing these RVs, but we definitely go over.
About a year and a half ago, I interviewed a woman who was in her late 20s, early 30s, who was working remotely, and she bought a Sprinter van and stripped it down and built it up to create an office space and living area for her to travel around wherever she wanted to go. And so
Yeah.
I know it is possible for younger folks to be able to do that. Do you have a YouTube channel as well that you are?
I do.
What is
Uh-huh. It's Nail Gun Nelly.
it? Okay. That's easy.
I'm pretty much across all platforms at Nail Gun Nelly.
Okay.
And I think Instagram has like an underscore, TikTok has a dot, but they're all Nail Gun Nelly. I will come up and I do YouTubes. I have a whole van series on my YouTube from when we did our Ford Transit van. But yeah, I'm pretty much across all platforms, and I'm honestly very accessible through DMs and messaging. I am the one behind. It's either me or Chad. We're the ones that answer every question, comment, everything. And we are very willing to as well. But sorry, he has to jump out. I love helping people, and I love the creative design behind it. A lot of times that's all people want is just help figuring out, is this possible or does this look okay here? And I love that. So
Or sending a picture to you and saying, this is what the interior looks like, and we need it to do this. Do you have any suggestions?
yes,
So we can help
like
them with
I
this?
get that a lot.
Okay.
And sometimes it's as simple as, I have this. I have these weird nooks. Do you have any ideas of how I can create a covering? And a lot of times I'll just bounce something off of them and then they'll come back and you figure it out because it's easy to get. You just need to talk it out sometimes. But I think it's so fun. Like, I love the whole design and trying to figure out how to make something work.
Okay. Are you providing coaching for people? Can they hire you to do that? Or is this something that you're providing
It
as
is
a
something
labor of
that
love?
It's something, as of right now, it's just labor of love and me being nice. But it's something that I'm thinking about offering. I haven't yet. I need to figure out the exact way to do it, but
Okay.
some sort of consultation, or I'm going to do like a subscription base where it's like once a month we come together and if
Mhm.
anybody has any issues. I just haven't figured out how to go about doing it, but it's
Okay.
definitely something that I want to offer.
Very good. Do you have any advice for people if they're looking for an RV to renovate? Are there things that they should look for to avoid, or look for to say, yes, this is the kind of RV that would be easier or better to renovate?
Yeah, that I think a lot of times, sometimes people that I've talked to have never even been in an RV or know what they want. And I know, like, when I was doing the van, a huge thing is to actually go rent one. You can rent a variety of different ones, walk through them just to get the layout, see what you need. Like, I have 2 boys. And so what I need may be completely different from what somebody else wants. And if they're living full time in it, are they just vacationing? But our main thing is obviously, like I said, water damage. We always stray away from, we're usually into vintage trailers, but like the siding on the outside, I don't want any big holes, gashes, anything like that, dents. We usually will walk away. I usually always want my windows to be there, more so because it's a vintage and it's going to be a lot more costly to replace those. And so it's more specific things to what is there, making sure it's all there, and the actual bones and structures. I would not care if it was a complete shell on the inside, because in my opinion, that just gives me more freedom to
Exactly.
create my own layout. But there's a lot of people that don't want to do that. It just depends on a lot of these trailers that I even rip out. I would be able to keep it all and just replace it. But you want to make sure that the subfloor is not soft, the frame looking good, the bones of it all. We push on every single corner, every seam, every window when we go in. You can get moisture meters to take with you, and that will help see if there's moisture in the walls. But at the same time, you want to, like, replacing one portion of a wall is not a crazy job. And it is a book to be able to help you get through doing that. So if you have to replace a couple studs, it's a job that is very doable. It just seems intimidating. But I only would want to be able to access it from the inside, not from the outside.
You might be able to negotiate an even better price for the RV from a private seller
Absolutely.
if they've got the
Always local.
There you go. That's right. And the subfloors and the walls and the interiors and things like that are often neglected by RV buyers when they're evaluating an RV. They're looking more for the bling and the stuff that they can see. So looking at that foundation is critical. And I'm glad to hear you
advising. And that's what's
advising
going to get you into trouble in the long run. If you have an ugly sink, you can easily replace the sink for $100.
Right.
But if you have a whole wall that is like soft, you are going to have to replace the cabinets to be able to get to the wall too. It's going to be a huge project. So that's why usually I would tell anybody, if there's like water damage signs, you walk away. And especially if it's just visual, because if you're already able to see it and not even have to touch it, then it's probably pretty bad.
What is the title of your book and where can people get it?
So the title of my book is DIY Camper and RV Reno, Restoring and Designing Vintage, Retro, and Classic Trailers with Neil Ganelli. And you can get it. It is available for purchase online at Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, BAM, what is it? Books A Million.
Okay.
And indigo.ca for all my Canadians, and bookshop.org.
Okay. So
you can Google it at this point and it'll come up for you. I have a blog called nailgunnelly.com and you can find it there. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, all with the handle of @nailgunnelly. And pretty much on any of those sites, I have a link to my book.
Excellent. This should be inspiring to a lot of folks who might think that they don't have any options. And if you can do it, maybe they can do it as well.
Absolutely. And not only is this book very educational and it'll help you through it, but it's also very beautiful. Like, I wanted to make sure that it was going to be, it's like such a great coffee book table or just something to have if you are into RVs or that type of travel. I have tons of photos throughout it of different RVs and projects we've done and different things. So it is a beautiful book as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much for sharing this with us today. And I wish you the best of luck in 2025.
Thank you. I'm so happy to have been here.
If you ever thought about renovating your own RV but felt overwhelmed by the idea, let Chad and Janelle Payne's story be your inspiration to take that first step. They didn't start with years of construction experience, just a willingness to learn, experiment, and figure things out along the way. Thanks to resources like Janelle's book, DIY Camper and RV Reno, and a wealth of online tutorials available today, it's never been easier for everyday people to transform an outdated camper into a functional and stylish home on wheels. The best part? You don't have to be an expert to get started. Janelle's book lays out the process step by step, covering everything from choosing the right RV to sourcing materials and tackling projects like flooring, cabinetry, and even electrical work. Whether you want to do a light refresh or a full gut and rebuild, the guidance is there to help you through each stage. Remember, when you renovate your own RV, you're not just saving money compared to buying a new one. You're also creating a space that reflects your personality and meets your specific needs, something that off-the-shelf RV models just can't offer. If you'd like to learn more, look for Janelle's book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or visit her website at nailgunnelly.com. You can also follow her on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok for more do-it-yourself inspiration and practical renovation tips. Who knows, that old camper sitting in someone's field could be your next adventure waiting to happen. All it takes is a little creativity, a willingness to learn, and the confidence to pick up that first tool. Today's episode was sponsored by Workamper News. Much more than just a job listing website. When you put the tools of this professional service into action, you'll find out just how easy it can be to turn your work camping dreams into reality. A Workamper membership opens the door to a one-stop shop for all things work camping. Being the original resource for work camping, you'll find the largest number of job listings, be able to connect with a community of work campers, and view resources compiled by experts who've been enjoying the RV lifestyle for many years. If you're serious about leading a successful and enjoyable work camping lifestyle, then membership is for you. Join today at www.workamper.com. Embark on new adventures today with the support of Workamper News behind you. That's all for this week's show. Next week, we are joining hundreds of other podcasters around the country for Podcast-thon 2025 to highlight the work of charitable organizations. I'll be speaking with 2 Workamper employers who operate nonprofit organizations. I encourage you to tune in. You might just discover a mission you can really get behind. I'll have more details on the next edition of The Workamper Show. If you like these interviews, please consider leaving your review wherever you download the episodes. Thanks for listening.